So today I'm going to be starting to work on a brand new fingerboard park. I'm thinking kind of ditch related, so drainage ditch, so it'll be like, yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah, kind of like that, yeah. So I think it'll be pretty cool. I'm not quite sure if I'm just going to do like a straight line because I don't have a whole lot of wood, so I might have to go to the store and get some more. But also kind of like bring some DIY things in it, so I might do some DIY rails or maybe some quarter pipes or ledges inside of it. So now I'm gonna go start cutting out the wood and make this thing. Okay, so this is the progress I've made so far now that I'm filming. I've cut out these blocks and then 3 triangles there. It's gonna be kind of ditch along here, flat tops on either side, and then it's gonna kind of angle in there, so I'll have a little bit of a hip and also a little bit of a, like opposite of a hip, inward kind of thing. And then I'm gonna be using these really thin, it's not balsa wood, but it's just really thin, like plywood stuff for the sides. And I'm not sure what I'm gonna do for the tops yet, but I still need to cut the pieces right there. And I also need to make the top parts of it, but I'm not too worried about that. And then glue them and put it all together. Okay, so as you can see, got the sides on both. These parts are both completely dry. I just barely put both of these on. It was a little bit sketchy, as you can see here, like just kind of ran out of wood, so it's a bit of a chunk off, but I think that part will be all right. Probably just put a piece like there just to seal it off a little bit. Yeah, so I think it'll work out pretty good once this all dries. Is a little bit janky, but I think it'll be pretty good because I'm just gonna sand it down, and these edge bits aren't even good anyway, so I'll probably get some plaster or wood filler or something just to fill those cracks. Okay, so finished gluing this and all that. It's pretty solid. I went to the store, I got some more glue, and I got some metal stuff and some wood for finishing the project, and also some plaster, which is over there, just to finish it. And yes, that area is gluing because it was really weak there. And then this is gluing, that's a second support, which is gluing. So I'm gonna let those glue for a little while. And then I'm probably gonna cut that out now, actually. And then I'll let this finish gluing and probably cut out the metal while I'm at it. And then tomorrow I'll just have sanding and plastering and then painting, and also have to glue the metal as well. So, okay, so this is pretty much what the final shape is gonna be. Obviously there's gonna be a rail up here. I might put a little bit of rail kind of object in that area. But this is glued down. That whole side is pretty much completely finished. I do need to do plaster still. This I just cut, and I need to drill holes on these Sharpie marks. And then this I just cut, which will be a cool little barrier. None of this is glued down. I think that'll be pretty solid. And obviously I'm probably gonna paint it, and then do some decorations and stuff, or graffiti or whatever. But yeah, this is what the end shape's probably gonna be like. So yeah, let's get to plaster and painting. Quick update, I just finished cutting the rail. It still isn't glued in yet. I'm gonna wait to glue it till I've done the plaster this evening, just so it can be undisturbed. And I also put a little piece of wood in here just to make it a little bit more level, and I'll probably plaster that in anyways. Also plaster that up and do a little bit of like plastering that isn't super great, just so it looks like little DIY spots. And I'm gonna try and find some wire mesh to put in here so it looks a little bit more like a fence. Okay, so this is what I've done so far. My hands are like super plastery and stuff. So I'm gonna go wash them. But we've done this whole area pretty darn well. Everything's got a solid coat on it, and the edges are pretty well set. I didn't do any like actual molding, just kind of crack filling. And I did some crack filling on this side, but I still have to do here and here, all of that. And then obviously like the actual texturizing and filling in, like kind of quarter pipery obstacle sort of parts, but I'm gonna go wash my hands and then I'll get on to the second part. I just want to add some basic information that I'm doing with the plaster. So here I have it. It's pretty thick, but it isn't super sticky. That's just how I like it because I'm molding it with my fingers. You could obviously do runnier jobs, or you could just use concrete, but I think plaster works the best for bonding to for bonding to wood, and for shaping things it's pretty easy to sand. You just got to make sure you wear a mask. So I'm gonna go in, put this down now so it doesn't have too much time to dry, and sometimes I'll add a little bit of extra water if it starts drying before I'm done. Okay, so probably saw me take the rail out. That's just so I could get some easier access. Obviously it doesn't look that great, but it doesn't really matter because it's gonna get sanded and then painted. I don't know, I just didn't really decide to do like the little up bits. I just kind of rounded off the edges so they weren't quite so sharp. This part I did get a little bit of that, and just base like thin layer on everything just to give it a, just makes it a little nicer texture. But yeah, I'm gonna need to let this dry and sand it, but before I do that I'm probably gonna put the rail in. Okay, so it's the next morning. Plaster is all dry and this seems pretty solid, but I'm just not gonna touch that area. I think today probably do a little bit more when I get home from school. But I'm just gonna do a little bit of sanding, I think. Probably using a pretty light grit, so higher number, just so that it doesn't rip off all this texture. And then I'll probably do a second little bit of plaster in certain areas if I see it comes off. Okay, so I finished with the painting. It looks pretty good. I might actually end up going a little bit lighter, but you can probably see like here I've just like done some basic dotting and stuff here as well, and then I drill another hole there and some dotting there as well, and I'll probably do some in here. But that's where I'm going to be putting in like a very DIY looking ramp, so it'll just be like probably straight up plaster or something similar to that, just so it looks pretty DIY-y. And that was kind of the idea with this build kind of thing anyways. So I think that'll look pretty good. So I'm gonna have some metal coping and stuff for some of those ramps. Okay, so a little update. Put in this stuff for the DIY obstacles there, and also this one up here. Kind of like made it actually like look how I think a DIY would probably be built. Got some bricks and wood, and then coping here, and then the coping here, and then some like mesh netting stuff that I think will actually help the plaster set onto it a little bit better. So this will be a nice little quarter pipe, and this will just be either a bank or a little quarter pipe, and then just the smaller little things didn't really need anything. So yeah, now I'm gonna plaster them. Okay, so I added on this siding and I painted it gray, and then I just have tape on all the corners just because it was a little sketchy. But as you can see, I finished the different colors of washes and I darkened up the plaster a lot. Still need to figure out something to do with that wiggle, because that is definitely not good. But yeah, I really like the way this siding edge kind of stuff turned out. And I really like the color of the park. This is still covered because I can probably take that off now. I will once I'm done filming. But here we have the quarter pipe, and it is really nice. It's like really quarter pipey shape. And those are pretty nice looking. Okay, so as I'm sitting here and editing this, I'm realizing that a lot of these clips where I'm outside, which are actually most of them, are pretty garbage audio-wise, just from wind and wind chimes and everything in the background. So I'm sorry about that for those of you who care. But now let's get back to the video. It's just all really smooth, and I really like the way it looks. So I'm pretty happy with that. And the only real issue is just this thing wiggling a little bit, but hopefully with some correctly placed glue that can stop. And now I think I'm just gonna do a little bit of like tiny tagging or graffiti, and also add a little bit of like greenery and stuff and some little props, but then I'll get some clips. Okay, so as you probably saw in that quick little cinematic, the park is done and it's looking great. Got little bits of grass in. Yeah, it just looks great. Everything's super smooth. I put in this little chain link. It'll focus. Okay, yeah. Little bits of like tagging. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, and then obviously added the edge, I think. I already went over that. Wow, the camera's not focusing at all. But yeah, everything's done. It's looking really great. I'm super happy with it. I've already shredded it a little bit and it's super fun. So now I'm gonna try and get some clips.